News this morning, the Eastern Cape Premier Oscar Mabuyane relieving Health MEC Sindiswa Gomba of her duties. I want to bring in Abongile Yankees. He's been listening to that press conference held by the Premier Oscar Mabuyane. Abongile, thank you very much indeed for coming on. Just give us some indication of being in the room then, what you heard, big takeaways for you with regards to this announcement by the Premier.
Well, yes, indeed, Blaine. The MEC has been fired by the Premier Oscar Mabuyane. He says that she needs to focus on her legal woes as she is facing fraud and corruption charges. That was the last straw for the Premier, Blaine. And even though the charges were provisionally withdrawn, he had hoped that they would not be reinstated again. But that was not to be, Blaine. And a damning SIU investigation report that she was also fingered in the reports of the controversial motorbikes. She and then HOD for Health, Dr. Tobile Mbengasha, where there were irregularities in the procurement of those motorbikes, and that was also another red flag for the Premier. Even the ANC here in the Eastern Cape was the one to call for anyone who's facing corruption charges to immediately step aside. And the Provincial Working Committee of the ANC was of the view that they would make a pronouncement on the MEC during this weekend, before this weekend, and that was this day, Blaine.
All right, just remind the viewers, Abongile, with regards to these charges that Ms. Gomba faces, that dates back to 2013.
Yes, Blaine. They started at 2014, and then they were withdrawn in 2019. That's when the MEC got the nod to become the MEC. But when they were reinstated, the Premier felt the need that she should just step aside and focus on her legal woes. But with regards to the charges, she's now out on bail, on a 1,000 bail, and she'll reappear on the 5th of March in the East London Magistrate Court. And what's new now is that the former CFO of the Buffalo City Metro, I forgot his name, but he has turned a state witness in that case, Blaine. So this case against the MEC and her co-accused is really gaining momentum, and that's why the Premier asked her to step aside. Well, it pertains to the Nelson Mandela funeral scandal. They were meant to provide memorial services and preparations for the funeral and transportation for mourners, Blaine, but there were extremely irregularities during then, and now the allegations, and now that the case is back in court, she says, the Premier says, no, she should just step aside, Blaine. And the MEC for Cooperative Governance, Xolile Ngata, will now act as the MEC until further notice, Blaine.
All right, Ngata steps in as acting Health MEC. It is a crucial time. We're in the midst of a pandemic. The vaccines are currently being rolled out. Until when does he act? When will the Premier announce the new Health MEC?
He didn't put any time frames. He says he'll take the time to look for a suitable candidate. You'll remember that the EFF here in the province, political parties were saying that the Premier should put someone who has a medical background, someone who's vibrant and young to fight the scourge of COVID-19. Even Nehawu here in the province was saying that they wouldn't work with someone who's facing legal woes, such as now the former MEC, Mrs. Sindiswa Gomba, Blaine.
Ms. Gomba will also, we learned, remain an MPL.
She remains a member of the Eastern Cape Legislature, but executives' roles have all been stripped away. It remains to be seen whether the next week it will be the State of the Province address. We'll see her then, but she'll remain just a member of the legislature. Nothing with regards to executive roles, such as being an MEC, Blaine.
All right, Abongile Yankees, live for us in the Eastern Cape. We appreciate you reporting. No doubt you will test the temperature of views in the Eastern Cape with regards to this announcement. How are the people reacting? We will find out a little later on. Abongile Yankees, live for us there in the Eastern Cape. We thank you very much indeed. All right.